Welcome to Arkansas Wildlife. Arkansas's largest animal is also one of the toughest tickets in all of natural state hunting. With thousands of Arkansans entering the annual drawing for 29 public land elk permits, having your name drawn is truly like winning the lottery. But you can enjoy the thrill of the hunt right here this week as we head out on an Arkansas elk hunt on Gene Rush Wildlife Management Area. But first, we'll pay tribute to the late outdoor rider Joe Mosby. Joe reported on every Arkansas elk hunt until last year's hunt shortly before his death. With this week's show dedicated to Arkansas elk hunting, it seems the perfect time to remember one of the natural state's true outdoor legends. Joe Mosby was an old-school legend among outdoor riders. That happens when you write about Arkansas's great outdoors for nearly half a century.
I kind of think of him as the grandfather of outdoor riders in Arkansas.
People of a certain age will remember Joe primarily as the outdoor editor, longtime outdoor editor of the Arkansas Gazette. With a newspaper background that spanned parts of 7 decades and included roles from copy boy to publisher, Mosby had journalism chops that would serve him well in the next phase of his career. So it was just a natural that when the Gazette closed, he started working some for the Log Cabin Democrat in Conway, and also started his almost 25-year career at the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Few people knew as much about the inner workings of the Game and Fish Commission than the man whose family referred to him as Papa Joe.
He knew everything about former directors, former commissioners, because he was covering them when he was working for the Gazette, and later on as a writer for the Game and Fish Commission.
Joe was truly a walking encyclopedia of knowledge about Arkansas history and specifically game and fish history. So he was a natural to write the copy for A Century of Conservation, which was published in 2015 to mark the 100th anniversary of the Game and Fish Commission. Joe often joked that he actually participated in much of the Commission's first 100 years. But his knowledge about game and fish wasn't limited to its history.
He would tell you a little story about something, and that was an indication maybe this is what you ought to know about something before you ride it, before you get in trouble.
Joe had a way of imparting knowledge about journalism, about writing, about the way things work, and sometimes the politics of life at the Game and Fish Commission. The annual Arkansas elk hunt was one of Joe's favorite assignments.
He was there from the beginning, and so he had a lot of perspective on our elk hunt and our elk herd, and he wanted to make sure that we knew everything and passed it along for historical purposes. He covered every one of them from its inception until he got too sick where he couldn't cover it. I think he missed the last one.
If you attended the elk hunt with Joe, you were guaranteed to experience at least 2 things: lots of storytelling and Joe's signature dish.
Anybody who ever went on an elk hunt with Joe had to try out his apple sausage sauerkraut skillet.
I know it sounds unusual, but it was really tasty.
It was really interesting to just hang out with him and learn a little bit about the newspaper business, about writing, and about the state of Arkansas.
All the knowledge that he had about the outdoors in Arkansas and the newspaper business and being a journalist and the elk hunt itself, it was just some memories that I'll always cherish. Although he's a member of the Arkansas Outdoors Hall of Fame and the Arkansas Sports Writers and Sportscasters Hall of Fame, Joe left a legacy beyond his awards and accolades.
Joe was part of our family, especially in our little communications division. We still save a chair for him at our staff meetings. Joe
meant so much to so many people, obviously his family, many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, but he was a grandfatherly type figure for us, here at the Game and Fish Commission. He just knew so much and had covered Arkansas outdoors for so long, and we'll miss that, but we'll also miss Joe's just kind and gentle nature and his presence here in our staff meetings and just being able to visit with him and talk to him. He's deeply missed and will be for many years to come.
At the annual Buffalo River Elk Festival in Jasper, hunters line up to register for a chance to win one of Arkansas's coveted elk hunting permits. Thousands more register online each year, and less than 30 names will be drawn for the opportunity of a lifetime to hunt and harvest a natural state elk. Ronna Rodman, a relative novice hunter, and her boyfriend, Terry Young, an avid hunter, both threw their names in the hat. Terry has entered the drawing each year since elk hunting resumed in Arkansas in 1998. Ronna entered for the first time in 2015. So, of course, Ronna's name was drawn.
To win it's like winning the lottery, something you don't think is really going to happen because there's a lot of people register for this.
I told her if she drawed one, she'd have to walk home. And she drawed it. She done called her mother.
Yeah, I called my mother and told her to come get me. I was going to have to walk home.
It tickled me to death that she got one.
Oh, I cried. I tried not to because he wanted it. He wanted that tag.
In 1981, almost 150 years after the native eastern elk disappeared from the natural state, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, along with private citizens, brought elk back to Arkansas with a comprehensive restoration project. The Buffalo National River area of the Ozark Mountains provided excellent habitat for elk to flourish, and between 1981 and 1985, 112 elk from Colorado and Nebraska were released. Today, the herd has grown to more than 700 animals, and elk have been reported in 14 counties. But having the opportunity to hunt elk in Arkansas is a relatively new endeavor. Following the growth of the restored herd, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission established the state's first modern elk season in 1998. Many other Arkansans and out-of-state visitors hunt elk with cameras and binoculars. Wildlife watchers and photographers can easily view elk along the roadside in historic Boxley Valley near Ponca. Feeding in the fields between the Upper Buffalo River and the two-lane highway that winds through the valley, the so-called tourist elk have grown accustomed to the big crowds. But scouting and hunting the more secluded herds is a completely different challenge, which takes a great deal of planning and skill. Both Ronna and Terry were quite familiar with the area and wasted no time scouting for the hunt.
The day she got her tag, we drove over here on the way home.
He knew a lot of these places, you know, trail riding. We come up here and do a lot of trail riding anyway. And so here we go. I'm going to say we did this for about 9 weeks. And then Terry came up here, he and his brother and some friends would come up here through the middle of the week and check things out, you know, just to see if they could see any more tracks or, you know, they put up a game camera just like at the last 2 weeks. It was exciting.
And finally, the time arrived. Ronna, Terry, and the rest of their gang christened elk camp with a big dinner and prepared for the next morning's hunt.
We got here at camp, and then some other people that had gotten a tag, they moved in up here at camp. So it was all cool that, you know, everybody was, you know, it was all building up.
Honestly, the group I'm with, we sometimes group camp 20 or 30 nights a year. So this is just, we load everything, we go, we cook, and we have a few adult beverages, and we enjoy what we do.
We have a big campfire, and we do our thing, and we have a couple that'll cook, and it's always fun.
While it's fun now, in the morning, it's all business.
Well, first I woke up, it was like, okay, I'm ready, let's just go. Let's just do this now.
We're through scouting, she's looking at the ground. I said, we're through scouting, we're hunting, look in front of you, and here we go.
It's not cold, it's not nothing, you just listen. It's just like, you know, you just listen for every little pop, every little crack out there.
Cheers.
just, thinking, okay, this is going to be, here he comes. You've waited this 5 months. You've waited a long time. I don't know, it's just, your eyes are just peeled, just looking for this, in every corner.
My dad used to take me out, and he'd leave me by a tree, and I'd go to sleep. And he'd come back, wake me up, and he'd say, Ronna, there's deer tracks all the way around you. Oh, okay.
I didn't want to be up in the tree stand. I needed to be down on the ground so I can see, or stand behind something, but each time you just, you're wanting to peek around another corner, or I was. On the first morning, Stephen, he had texted us and told us that we needed to, go over one more ridge.
Yes, go see how
That's where they're at. They're still over there.
And so we all loaded up and went over there and met up with him, and we could hear him just bugling down in the valley, and Terry would call out for, did a bugle, and he'd wait a bit, and that elk would answer him back. I want everybody else to hear this. Do you all hear this with me, It just gets y'all excited. But he never came into sight. He stayed in his valley.
At a quick team meeting, they agreed to a change in strategy.
I think we got to get him, because he's done seen you here. Yeah. He's not coming to us. So we get around in front of him and might get him, might not, I don't know. We come around trying to sneak in on that bull, and we misjudged the distance. And I sat, and Ronna went up in front of me. Stephen was with her then.
But the flanking maneuver failed, and the bull slipped away unseen.
I sat down and I called. Before Ronna and Stephen got settled, I heard something run off to my right, so I knew we'd blew it, but we would have sat there for a while anyway.
So it was back to camp to refuel with a quick lunch and to compare notes with their team of scouts before heading back out for the afternoon. Like many wildlife species, elk are usually more active in the mornings and evenings, so Ronna's optimism was still running high. But despite her high hopes, the sun was quickly setting on her first day in pursuit of an Arkansas bull elk.
When the sun goes down, your timing's up.
We just didn't get it done the first day. But we wasn't excited, worried. I was not worried at one bit.
I just sit around the campfire for a little bit, and then I just went on and went to bed. And I just knew it was all going to fall in place.
Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Academy. After a long first day and a close call with a cagey bull elk, Ronna Rodman didn't have to wait long for the action to start on day 2.
I heard more this morning than I have in a long time.
That field is full of elk. We hear the bugle, and I am way deafer than anybody in the crowd, but I knew he was either in the field or just to the right of it. And she goes to take off. I said, no, 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 no. I kept looking at the clock, watching for the shooting time, and I wanted to stay there till I could see through the woods sneaking up into that field.
I'm ready. Let's go. Okay, and then being told to wait a minute, it was like, what? What? It's like, okay. He knows what he's doing. My God, Terry, he was just pulling me through this, and he knew what he was doing.
When I first looked in the field, I was in front of everybody. The field was full of elk, full of elk. I don't know how many there were. And I said, okay, we're going up here, and the bull was still bugling.
Well, I'm trying to be really quiet and not get totally seen by them. And so Terry had gone up in the woods, stepped up in the woods just a little bit, and he was saying that he could see a whole bunch.
I seen 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and here comes this little spot. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Ronald was going to shoot anything. If you want to shoot it, shoot that one. Just a spot. That's up to you. And this was going to be a perfect shot. I said, honey, all you gotta do is step to the right and bust it if you want him. And she did not do it.
You know, there's a lot of cows in there. And then he told me, he said, here comes a spike. Well, out of all of the green, here he came. He was just eating. But I kept hearing something to the right of me. And so I put my gun up so I could see through the scope, and I could see him in between some trees.
So we're sitting here, and she seen the one to the right in the woods, and I didn't see him. I was still trying to find the big boy.
But then, whenever I knew it was okay, and here this one came, I was ready.
Take him if you want him.
He came out, and he was looking down, and then I had already got him, you know, seen him, got my gun ready, and when he looked at me, it was like, that's it.
Now. I seen his horns. I said, shoot him. About 2 seconds later, she whammo. She busted him.
Well, I didn't know if I'd shot him, and I knew I wasn't going to shoot anything else until I made sure. But after I shot, and all these cows come running, and then that massive one come out from the top, like the big old mountain one. Oh, and then he gathered up his cows and started snorting. That was just awesome too. Mine had left my scene, and it was like, I need to find out where he was. If he was down, then I'm good.
We did not find no blood. I was getting worried, and I'm looking, Ronna's looking, and then I was taking one more step and look over there, and I said, hey girl, there's your bull, and she blowed up.
Oh, sweet! Sweet, one shot is down! Oh. Man, they just like, they're so pretty. Terry says, Ronna, there lays your bull. Oh, please. I just wanted to bawl and scream and holler and dance, and I got real excited. Very excited.
She's a little more emotional than I am, and I knew she was going to get excited.
Oh, it's just too pretty.
The only thing left was to call for backup. The rest of the hunting party was eager to celebrate the rare feat of taking an Arkansas elk. And with Ronna's bull weighing in at about 700 pounds, extra hands and a couple of mules would come in handy.
I've been on several hunts and few trophies, and we done it methodically. We done it exactly the way I would have done it, and she put a bullet exactly where she's supposed to. We just done great.
I'm still excited. It was just so awesome. It still is.
Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation. Support wildlife and conservation education in the natural state. Become a member today. Arkansas Wildlife presents the 2016 Watch and Win giveaway. During each first run episode of Arkansas Wildlife, we'll give away an Arkansas resident hunting and fishing license, a $35.50 value provided by Academy Sports and Outdoors. At the end of the year, we'll award the 2016 Grand Prize, a lifetime hunting and fishing license provided by Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, along with $1,000 worth of sporting goods gift cards provided by the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation. Here's how it works. Visit the Game and Fish Commission's website at agfc.com and click on the Arkansas Wildlife icon to enter. This week's winner is Riss Mankin from Little Rock. Congratulations, and thanks for watching.